Hey guys, welcome to the Dominate DIY podcast, episode 4. You will not want to miss this. There is so many nuggets of information that are going to really change your ability to start a Stone Coat Countertop business. We talked to Carlos in Arizona. He's going to give away all of his secrets of how he's taken Stone Coat Countertops to the next level. He's the man. Stay tuned and enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the Dominate DIY podcast. Here we talk about how to dominate your do-it-yourself projects with simple solutions, providing valuable insights to contractors, professionals, and do-it-yourselfers. I'm your host, Mike Quist. Enjoy the podcast. Dominate DIY. Okay, we're calling Carlos down in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hey, is this Mike?
Hey, what's up, Carlos? Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, are you in the studio?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are on the Dominate DIY podcast. So exciting, right?
It really is. It's got my heart rate up.
How you doing, Carlos?
I'm doing really, really good.
Awesome.
It's such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, man. No, thank you. We've been talking. How long have we been friends now? Talking Stone Coat Countertops and life in general. How long we been hanging out on the phone, man?
I gotta say, close to, gosh, it feels like a year and a half or something. You know?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. You tell us your story. How did we meet? How'd that first conversation go? And let's start there, brother.
Okay, so, I am an entrepreneur, and I wanted to start my own business. And I tried a couple different things like a float tank, fixing Prius batteries, and I came across your YouTube videos, and it just hit me, that this was a product where you're producing something. It's a product that people need, and it was just hitting all these categories that I saw real viability as a business.
Gotcha. Did you have construction experience, Carlos, or how was that for you?
I mean, a little bit, like some plumbing, some nickel and dime stuff, but as far as as working in a customer's home, no, none.
Gotcha.
But it really, if you want to go deeper on why your product really spoke to me was, I don't know if you've ever heard of Peter Schiff.
No, I
haven't. He's an economist, and he has some strong opinions. But he goes on these CNN or CNBC money shows, and they talk about the economy. And he said something that really just has stuck with me for a long time. He said, in America, we used to make things. We used to produce things. And I just saw an opportunity where I could do that. Like our countertops are made in America by Americans with American materials,
Right.
And that's just so cool to say.
Right. One thing that we found, Carlos, too, is countertops are something that have to be fit to every particular kitchen and layout. So it's not something that you can mass produce. That's one product that you cannot mass produce and sell as a cookie cutter, one size fits all. It takes that special touch to make it work in each individual kitchen. So I think we have longevity with the product because of that point right there. And it has to be made in America. You can't make it overseas to each individual layout and make it work,
Absolutely. And that it's geolocation protection almost, or something like that.
No,
You know?
exactly, exactly. You know, we get asked all the time about. We have a lot of contractors that start doing this. They add it to their business. We have people like you who start out from scratch and build a business, and they're all worried about competition. And I say, well, how many granite guys are in your area right now? And the question is always answered the same way. Oh, a ton, man. And they're all busy. They're all booked. And I go, well, if that's the case, I guarantee you cannot do all the work as a demand in your area. You just couldn't keep up. And so, when they get over that fear and go, you know what, I'm just gonna advertise. I don't care if people see what I'm doing. They just take off. Have you found that to be the case, or how? Now you told me about making tables and starting out selling them. Did you sell them off your mom's garage sale or something? How'd that work, man?
Yeah, it was actually my neighbor's garage sale, and yeah, we had a great response. Um, People really, really loved it. I didn't sell it because it didn't have legs on it.
Gotcha,
It
gotcha.
was, so it's really hard to sell a table without legs. I mean, otherwise it's got to be we're talking a beautiful tabletop. you know.
Right, right.
But I did it as like a market test, and people loved it.
Sure.
It had the chiseled edge. It was like a gray marble. To this day, it's my personal desk. I'll never sell it.
Oh,
Not
cool.
that one,
Sure,
you
sure,
know.
sure.
But other ones I've sold, and I've done some uh, like graduation presents, little desks or something like that, and people love them. But I've noticed what really keeps me busy is countertops. I mean, that's like a 9-to-1 ratio
Oh,
in my
gotcha.
in my area, um, and that's probably because it's it just I put it out there and I get something. With the countertops, there's no two ways about it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you're staying pretty busy.
Yeah, well, I had to pump the brakes, because I didn't have a lot of experience in this. It's a trade,
Right.
so you're going in people's homes, and you want to give them the best. You can't just slap stuff in there. And I just wasn't at that experience level where uh, I had kind of had to figure things out as I'm going. And so that took me some time.
Sure.
Sometimes you got to literally sleep on it. And the next day you're like, oh, okay, that's how we do that. And
Sure.
it just clicks. And that happens with recipes too. They want this specific look, and I just can't get it. And then I sleep on it. And the next day it just happens.
Right. So
I don't know if
many.
that happens to you.
Oh, so many of our videos are born out of necessity of a client wanting to match a specific color, and they'll send us pictures, and we go, well, what's an easy way to achieve a look similar? Because you and I both know you're not going to match a rock exact. There's always going to be variables, and the material by nature just moves, and so you have to play with those ideas, get something close, get that color palette close, and then once you know your techniques, like once we realize how to marble something, how to make hard lines with granite effects, and then you could start to really emulate things. But sorry about the beeping. I don't know how to stop that. I got another call coming, but we'll ignore that.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. Once you got these techniques down, you could start to just add the color and plug and play. But we've had to really get creative to figure out certain techniques, and once you know that technique, you just change the color, and now you have a whole new realm. But you got, like, I think you're going about it the right way. You're not trying to rush, and I think you're really concerned with quality, and I think that's key of building a great reputation.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking on trying to mimic, nature, my experience has been what I people like what I produce, even more so. Like it's a little different, but they like it more. Um, because sometimes I've been really off the ball with something that they wanted, and they were like, "Oh, actually, we want that."
Right, right. So
you
don't be
know,
afraid. When we make samples for people, if it's a wild color, that's exactly what I'll do is I'll show them my failures on the way to try to find their perfect recipe, and a lot of times you're exactly right. They like the failure, in your opinion, better than they like your end result
It's
of.
crazy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It's true.
You showed me some tops that you emulated a redwood effect. You sent pictures.
Oh,
Man, that
yeah.
was, I've never done anything like that. I don't even know how you did it. And it is just extremely beautiful. And I'm afraid of red in a lot of respects because it can get too loud and too fake really quick, but you flat out nailed it.
Oh, it's and that was our first job.
Very
I'm
cool.
not kidding.
Very
Yeah, that was
cool.
our first job. And my buddy Skylar, who's in college, I asked him. I said, "Hey, I'm starting up this business. Um, you want to help me out with this job?" And right out the gate, I let people know, "Hey, I'm new to this. Um, first couple people are going to be 50% off." And so I kind of bought some wiggle room if there was um, anything happened. But we took our time. We always took our time, and it's all in the prep. We didn't rush nothing, and it came out good. I mean, it
Nice.
really as far as structurally too, nice and even, and then the artwork. The, what I love about this is it is kind of challenging in the fact that there's an artistic side and a tradesman side, and they come to a junction.
You're
And
right.
very rarely do you see that, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I think because of that, and that's why we encourage people to make their own samples because you're going to get certain colors that you really, really like and get good at and can make look a certain way that becomes kind of your flavor, and I think that look is your flavor, and I think that's what you offer to your clients. And when we have people come to our classes every month, they're always, hey, can I do this? Can I do this in showers? Can I do it on mantles? Can I do it on floors? Can I do it in bathtubs? Can I do it, everything that they could think of? And the answer is typically, yeah, you can. But you nailed it. You said, I'm busy doing countertops. Well, you found your niche, you found what works and what's going to make you money. And that was the same thing we did and do is we found countertops. And the reason countertops work is because I'm not on my hands and knees prepping a floor, which we have a lot of guys use our floor product, which is great. But I got into countertops. That's really where, and then
right.
we stayed busy 12 months out of the year doing countertops. So I really didn't reach out to these other genres of business, but it doesn't mean somebody shouldn't. They just need to find what their niche is. And like right now, this week we did a bunch of art projects and we're trying to show artists, we have a lot of artists that use our stuff and they sell their art, but we found that teaching people how to do art, we have a lot of artists that started doing classes when they teach people how to do art. Now they become established in their area as a well-known artist because they're helping others. And I think there's a lot of power in that is you help others learn something and then and that's what we tell contractors when they're doing a countertop is have some footage of you making that countertop and send it to your client. They're going to be so excited seeing that process. Or if you're doing it on site, make them a part of it. And then they gain ownership of that thing and
Yeah.
it becomes an event rather than a product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've had a lot of friends come over to my shop. it's uh it's so fun to watch them on their first one, because they're like, what do I do now? And it's like, whatever you want. And it's always an experience. But speaking on, focusing on one thing, and like you said, this is great for shower walls. This is great for garage floors. The way I want to do it is I want to master countertops, and maybe I am there. Maybe I'm too hard on myself, but I'm not going to branch out until I've got that down very, very professionally.
Right.
And then the next one that I'm going to get into is shower walls because
Nice.
it would be gorgeous in a stand-up shower.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
We have a number of folks that, and the way that I like to do showers, Carlos, is I'll go template the shower. I'll make MDF panels first. I'll pre-fit it to make sure it's all perfect. And then I'll take it back to the shop and I'll pour those panels flat, but I'll run the veins into each panel so that when you look through that shower, it's totally custom. And to do that out of natural stone is really expensive because you're wasting a lot of material. But in this case, you can do an accented vein right where the customer wants it. And oh my gosh, you know, I'll do a video on that whole process. But it's a lot of work. But you know, I mean, people to get tile installed in their shower is not cheap, and it's a lot of work. And doing panels, it's a lot of work, but it's not nearly the same labor as doing tile because you're literally setting panels giant instead of one individual tile at a time, you know.
Yeah, instead of 50 pieces, you could do it in 3 panels.
Right, exactly,
you know?
Exactly.
And I want to tell the audience the progress that we've made and the technology that's out there that I use in my company. You and I talked about the Leica 3D disto.
Yes,
that
talk
I have.
about that. Yeah.
So, we used to use Luan strips, and
you're talking about templating. We're talking about templating counters, correct?
Correct. Yeah, Luan strips are these thin strips of wood that you would put on top of the countertops, and I just noticed that I just wasn't really good at that, and it was taking me so much time. And I started researching, how to get better at that. And I found this laser that scans the cabinets. It scribes the wall.
Wow.
The back wall, and we input that in a CNC machine. So what we measure is an identical fit for your kitchen,
Sure.
And it comes out, every part of your countertop on the back edge is an 1/8 inch space.
Wow.
So it's not a straight line. Say you have a bow in the wall, we're putting that in the countertop,
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
and so that's one of the things where I can now raise the production because of our efficiency.
Very smart.
So that's been huge, it's been huge.
I know when we first started talking and we were talking templates, so I kind of take it for granted that I've been literally templating kitchens for 15 years. And so my brother and I doing granite and Corian and Formica and Silestone and quartz and Zodiac, and we installed for Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco, Direct Buy, Sears, all the big boxes. We would literally do, thousands and thousands of templates throughout, a few years span. And you get really good at it where you can multitask and you don't really have to think about what you're doing. But in the beginning, it was really, you're so nervous about getting that template wrong, getting it back to your shop, doing all that work, and then having it not fit. And so I totally can relate. And I saw guys use that laser templater. And I was always nervous because I was really good at what I did. But here,
Right.
you've taken technology, made it, I guarantee you could template a kitchen faster than me because you've learned how to do that. And I love that you're not afraid to jump in, and it also proves there's way more than one way to skin a cat, and you're taking your business and making it work for you. And I love that, man. And I've always been too cheap to go out and get something that nice. I've always done it the hard way, but I would probably love it if I went after it.
I think, well, everyone's a little different, and I think your brain is just you're really good at a physical world.
Sure. Sure.
That's a little uphill for me, but I have to really work over that.
Right.
And the reason I brought up the laser was a way to tell people, if you're going to struggle in some kind of business, no matter what business you do, but there's a solution out there.
Right.
If you have a deficit in something, there's some kind of solution that you can bring to the table, and it'll be a game changer. For me, the templating and the when we have the CNC machine cut everything just perfect, it's there's peace of mind. We go
Yeah.
straight to the epoxy side, which I love. I
Right.
love doing that. And you just got to find the solution out there for. And it took me a while. I didn't know this thing existed. you know.
Carlos, I think that's truly what makes what the entrepreneurial spirit is yes, there's going to be issues, there's going to be hurdles, roadblocks, mountains, and you got to figure out how to climb, scale, or go around or under, and you're not afraid to really figure it out. And I think you have a calculated way of doing it. I've really loved watching your progress and hearing your victories. And you talked to me a while ago about a home show that you did. Can you talk about that? How'd that go? And what was what was the response of folks who saw your stuff at that show?
Oh, I would say 30% of the people would come up and be speechless. you, you know, and the rest, 50% of them would be amazed or, like, wow, that's really cool. But 30% would be like, what is this? You made this, and just puzzled or something like that, like it was a magic trick or something.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and we had a lot of big samples, and a really great compliment because it's a big home show, the Maricopa County home show in Phoenix in January. I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
like I forget the number. I think it's like 50,000 attendees over the course of 3 days.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a
Yeah,
lot of people.
it's a lot of people, and I had a couple people tell me, wow, you're the best kept secret in this whole place.
That's
you know,
awesome. That's
because
that's
I'm
awesome.
in the corner. I got the $800 booth. You know what I mean? So, but that is starting out. If you
Yeah.
got to crawl before you walk, then so be it.
Oh, I when I do a home show, I do not want the premiere spot because you are literally going to be swamped the entire show anyways. It really doesn't matter where you're at. And you almost gotta keep it a secret to be able to handle the. I told you you're gonna get swamped. Was I lying?
Oh no, you were not. You were not lying. Um, Unfortunately, at that time, I couldn't. I had so much demand, and I didn't have the production capability.
Uh huh.
And I'm never going to take on more than I can chew because when I take someone's security deposit, they're my client.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I space them out, and that's why having these progresses in equipment has the new bottleneck is sales. Because there's no question we can do 3 to 5 countertops a week now,
Nice.
and not question quality.
Nice. That's great, Carlos. That's good, man. That's
Um,
that's fast.
but you're right. I'm probably gonna get the same corner because I talked to so many people. I don't think I would ever want the front and center stage. Now that you say that, because my voice at the end of the day was raspy. Oh man.
That's honestly what made us figure out. You gotta listen to where people are looking, and people go to home shows for one purpose: to check out what's out there, what they don't know about. Also, they're in the process of building a house, or they're remodeling, or they're just a lot of people go to a home show as a date, just to have a good time. And then you got a whole nother audience online where they may not ever go to a home show. So you got different dynamics. And I sent you our beta test, our ad that we're putting together to send people and help them get jobs for. We get that focus group of contractors that come here once a month to do our class, and we find out they're excited. They know how to do Stone Coat countertops. They come here, they get major confidence because they can't believe how easy it is to make these beautiful pieces. Now they want to go home and go gangbusters, but a lot of them don't want to wait for a home show. So how do you get started? And so we started kind of laying out a roadmap of making samples, getting comfortable, not putting the cart before the horse, but then starting an ad and running an ad. And a lot of people don't know make a solid video, or don't, they're not comfortable in front of a camera or doing those kind of things. So we've kind of created a cookie cutter ad. I sent it to you. What are your thoughts on how that looked, and how do you think that'll
Oh,
perform?
yeah, I thought it was perfect. I thought it was really, really good. But the proof is in the pudding. We gotta see how the response is.
Yes.
Um, but to me, I think it's as good as anything one could make. You know.
we're
Um,
we're running that right now for a few contractors, and they're getting really good response, and so we're stoked for that. And I think the key though is, do not start running an ad until A, you're ready to run those leads, because you're going to get people to call, and B, you're ready to do the job. So you can do a little test like you did in the front lawn, or like you did at that home show, and you're going to see really quick, people want countertops that aren't expensive, that look nice, but they don't want to pay the price tag of natural stone. And so the market is there. It's just a matter of, can you fulfill it with your skills? And so I think it's really important to gain those skills, practice, make samples, start out on tables, go to Goodwill. We're going to actually do a video. We're going to go to Goodwill. We're going to buy like an old cheap table or a desk and refinish it and show what you could turn. You can polish a turd. You know what I mean? You can make it look really good. So I don't know. I mean, we're just.
yeah. Well, speaking on the countertops as a whole, these epoxy countertops deserve to be in any zip code. I've done mobile homes, and I've done homes that are like $3 million.
Wow.
You know,
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, so they're beautiful, they're durable. Everyone is in your demographic. You know,
Right. Right.
as far as the kind of home, the home value. Uh, what I've noticed is what really gets the sale, though, is how they trust you.
Sure.
When you're there, you present the product. Personally, what I do is I leave the samples there with them. I
Nice.
say, hey, look at these, set it around in your kitchen, use it, and call me back, no obligation.
Wow.
And I think they just really appreciate that, and they feel comfortable doing business with me.
Wow, that's a great idea, man. That's smart. I like that, and you're making the customer comfortable with the material, because nobody's heard of this. It's such a brand new concept. Nobody's heard of it, and so I think what you're doing is smart, man.
I leave the decision up to the customer on whether or not they like the product. Not every presentation has to be a sale.
Totally.
Use that as a practice opportunity, and I ask them, what would have made the difference?
Oh, that's
Because
a
you
good
really,
idea, man. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you want that hard data, and say, hey, that's no problem, but I'm just curious, what would have made a difference?
I like
Um,
that.
you know,
Feedback is key. We you know
Good or bad,
we
you
take
know.
I think bad feedback is so much more productive. It's like a loss in wrestling. I grew up wrestling. I coach wrestling, and when a kid loses a wrestling match, that kid learns, if he's a hard-nosed kid who really wants to be a champion, he learns so much from a loss versus a win. And it drives you, and you're not going to make that mistake again. And if you never ask for that feedback, or if you just get offended, you're not going to learn. And it's like making a YouTube video. When we first started making YouTube videos, which we still got a long way to go, but our videos were absolutely horrendous. And we had people get on there, they liked the content, they liked what we were sharing, but I didn't know about a wireless mic. I didn't know about LED lighting. I didn't know about, echo in a room, which is why we have this doggone foam everywhere. So you use that negative feedback, and you embrace it and get better. And I think any business, like, I think what you're hitting is the keys to success in a business, man, is number one, don't let roadblocks kill you. Number two, use feedback and look for opportunities for feedback. And a lot of times people are too polite to give you feedback unless you ask for it. So I think that's smart.
Yeah, and you really have to, it's not your product, it's their home,
Right.
and you really got to feel the respect for that, and they appreciate that ultimately. Um, But yeah, the entrepreneur, I mean, you got to wear a lot of hats, you know. And I'm 25, you know, so
Wow.
you would think I'm good at the Facebook marketing. That's a whole nother thing,
Sure.
you know. I
Sure.
mean, just there's so many things. It's like, what am I doing here? You know, video production, and so I think it's great that you're offering those because if the more you can focus on one thing, the quicker you can get that result. You know,
Sure.
so for me, it was the trade side that I really just, you know, I wanted to get confident, I wanted to get comfortable, and you know, it took me about a year to really get really, really good to where I'm happy with it. When I take that down deposit, I'm not worried at all. That job is going to come out good,
That's
you
awesome.
know.
And that's key is it takes time to get good at anything. And this isn't a get rich quick deal overnight. You got to get good at it. And I think you're going. So you now have you have a warehouse that you work out of instead of garage. You've moved up to a warehouse. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've really done this in the smartest way possible. You know, so I have a garage that is spray foamed. So we work in a facility that is airtight.
Oh, nice.
There is no air movement.
Oh,
And we
nice.
do all our carpentry. If we have to do any, we do it outside the shop.
Okay.
Um, so it's one of those things where we look at every step of the process. And my employee Jim, you know, I say, Jim, can we do this better? Is this the is this the best way we can do this? You know, and that goes for transportation. That goes for, you know, is there a better way to sand this? You just never stop trying to improve every step.
You're
You
right.
know,
I love it, man. I love you, Carlos. You're the man, dude. It's evolution of quality, you know. And if we just are happy with the status quo, you're not gonna learn anything. You're just gonna get stuck in a rut.
yeah, exactly. And it's a lot of you know, I work a lot, but I never feel like I'm clocked in.
I
You
love
know,
that.
and
Yeah.
so I really want to thank you for that because like I just went up to Happy Jack yesterday. You know, I did a road trip. That was my job. You know, to go template a new construction build over
Nice.
in Happy Jack.
Nice.
Beautiful area, but and you know, he with that laser, I walked in there. You know, he felt leaving. He was getting the best. You know, he was
Yeah.
like, what is this thing? I was like, it's a $9,000 laser. You know, it is what it is.
did you so that's true. I mean, that's a doggone magic show in itself, is just templating, and that's got to build major confidence for your clients, seeing you pull something like that out, knowing how to use it. I wouldn't even, I mean, unboxing that thing would terrify me. So you had to learn how to use it. You know how to use it. You got really good at it. And any general contractor seeing you come in with that, you're gonna blow their mind. So that's smart, man.
Yeah, yeah, and I take this serious. I mean, you know, we're going to be the best epoxy manufacturers on the West Coast.
I
You
love it.
know,
I love it,
that
man.
that we might already be there. I don't know. I try to reach out to other people. And that's the other thing is, you know, make some phone calls if you're interested. You know, call me, do some Google research or Facebook searches, you know. And I called a guy, his name's Dave, out in Florida, and man, he does the way I do petrified redwood
Uh huh.
is the way that guy does Mediterranean. Um, I don't even know what to call it, but if you're looking for like Caribbean uh, designs,
Yeah.
he blows it out of the water. I think his
Sure.
Facebook page is Wall Art by Dave,
Okay.
and he's really on the ball as far as if you're looking for Caribbean or Mediterranean um, designs. I was blown away,
Very
you know. But I
cool.
called him and we talked. You know, how do you What's been your customer experience? What's been, we just exchange what our struggles are. And you can learn a lot by just talking to someone for 30 minutes, So make those phone calls if you're really, really interested, and people will tell you their story,
Absolutely. How
just like
about
I did with you,
that's you taught me a lot of what I was leaving to be desired in our video content too, because there's things that I'm going to take for granted, and that's why you got to listen to feedback. And a lot of our stuff will kind of like you're the reason we made that 4-hour video from start to finish on how to do this every single aspect and what we do, from templating down to delivery, down to polishing the seams and putting on an undermount sink and getting the camera in the sink cabinet and showing our brackets and all these things. I go, if a guy wanted to learn this from scratch, how do we teach it? And so that's what we did. And man, 4 hours. I'm going, holy cow! No one's ever going to watch this, and I can't believe. People say, well, I can't believe I watched the 4-hour video on YouTube, but thank you. Like it, we appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, I left a comment. I said, I can't believe I've never been so excited for a 4-hour video. Because the truth is, like, wow, it's all here. There's. That's awesome. That's unbelievable, honestly, that you did that.
No,
and to this day, I'm sure it's paying dividends and people being grateful.
Well, people need to know. Like our philosophy is, empower somebody to really make a living using our products and have the best products available to them with the best support that we can ever try to offer. And you build businesses, you help people, remodel their kitchen that never thought they could do something like that, or didn't think they could ever have the money to get a look like that. And we found just empowering people to do it themselves, or to start a business, or to do what you've done, man, that is honestly what drives me and what makes us extremely, like when you said you don't feel like you're working, right now we're making a project for our next video, which is really cool. I don't want to disclose what it is because it's going to be a surprise, but I'm going, this isn't work, man. This is just, I'm having a blast building this, and it's creative, it's just getting your hands into it, and setting the cameras up. That's a lot of work. It slows you down, but it's like, all right, I'll do this if I get to play. You know what I mean? It's just a good time.
Yeah, and I think this industry as a whole is just getting started.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it really, really is. And there's already a deficit in the workforce for all trades.
Yes.
All tradesmen. I drive down Mesa, Phoenix all the time, and you see hiring plumbers now, hiring electricians now, fabricators needed.
Yes.
There's so much demand, and the pay is good. This is a good field to get into. Maybe you don't like the countertop aspect, but this opens your eyes to the plumbing. I know plumbers that get paid like attorneys.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. When I was going to high school, I had a number of teachers that it was almost like a threat. They would say, "Oh, if you don't listen, you're going to end up in construction." And I'm going, "Well, my dad's in construction, lady. Like, what are you saying?" And I went to college, and I took history because that's about the only thing I could pass, And so I had a full ride football scholarship, so I took history, got out of school, and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I started back with my dad's construction business and saw the potential because of how hard my dad worked. And I went, my teachers were wrong. There's some serious potential in construction if you're willing to get your hands dirty and get to work and learn something and become skilled at it, and then learn how to run a business. And so all those things.
It's honorable.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
Honorable
Absolutely.
to do that kind of work.
I love it. I love the points you brought up, man. I love your mindset. I love what you think about. I could tell that, man, Carlos, we've talked about me coming out there and seeing your operation, seeing your setup. I'm deadly serious about that. I'd love to get out there and check out what you're doing and just hang out for a few days, man.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And you've offered that a while back, and I just had to push it back because it's like, I'm not quite there, I'm not quite there, but we're almost there.
All right, sounds good, man. You let me know when you're ready, and I'll get on a plane and come out there, and we'll do a team video. Let's talk about. Would you like to let the audience know how to get in touch with you in case they're looking for a project to be done or want to talk to you? Is that something you want to promote?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell us the name of your business and how to get a hold of you and how to check
So
you out.
our Facebook page is Countertop Da Vinci, and the phone number is 928-255-3959. Shoot me a text, and we can start talking.
Nice, nice, man. And customers that we get a lot of customers every day that are afraid to do this themselves. They're just not do-it-yourselfers, or they don't have the time. And we do refer people out to contractors like you. So anybody looking in the Phoenix Mesa area, is that correct? Is that kind of your area there, Carlos?
Yeah, even northern Arizona, really Arizona in general,
Okay.
we'll take care of you.
All right. Well, call Carlos. I vouch for this guy. I think you're salt of the earth, man. I love it every time you call. When I see that I've missed your call, I can't wait to get on the phone and talk to you, man. And when we say free project support, we mean it. We'll spend the time with you because this is our passion, is to help. When we find somebody hungry, like that's the key too. Is if you don't really go after this thing 100%, it's nothing's gonna work that's worthwhile. So I think,
And that's any business.
yeah, absolutely.
That's any business. Somebody is a millionaire from selling paper,
Yeah, yeah,
like a commodity.
yeah.
And, anyone can sell paper, but they went out there and made it happen. They hit the pavement, they made the phone calls. You just, like you said, you got to put your heart out there, really put yourself out there.
You're 25 years old, man. I love it. You're awesome, Carlos. Man, anything else you want to close with, man? I was gonna do question and answer. I think you can't top this, man. This is. I'm not adding anything to this podcast. You're the man, Carlos.
Yeah, yeah. I guess one thing, if you're in the Arizona area, because we are looking to hire pretty soon here.
Nice.
So, we can. I just want to throw it out there. Send me a message on Facebook, and because it's getting to the point where we're gonna have to hire. that's
Right.
And that's such a beautiful thing to say.
It is.
It's awesome to provide that. It's taken a while, but what a great opportunity, and really, indirectly they should thank you. If they get hired.
Carlos, that I don't. We certainly don't want to brag, as I don't, but this brings up a really big point. So I've been working with epoxies for 11 years, hardcore, just deep, hands dirty, almost every single day, and working with chemists and trying to get formulations exactly how I would want them, so they're flexible enough to handle overhangs and can expand and contract with wood, and they're heat resistant for hot pans, and they're as scratch resistant as you can get in epoxy. They're a 1-to-1 ratio. They're zero VOC. Like, all these things come into play, and it hasn't been 11 years that we've been successful. It's been about a year and a half. And when we started, I did absolutely everything myself, everything, and I couldn't afford to hire anybody, and now we have 15 employees. We've grown, and I attribute that to guys like you. I attribute it to our customer base. I attribute it to our employees working their butts off, loving what they do, providing the best customer support, providing, when we send out one of our packages, we want our customers to feel like we really cared about even packing that box. And so you'll see our business in every lining of what we do. And no, when you say you're getting ready to hire another person, that to me, the people that we get to hire, it's so hard to hire somebody, because when you're interviewing, people are genuinely good, and it's hard to make a decision for that right person. Your heart really goes out to them, so you just try to make the best decision you can. But I think the fact that you get to hire somebody, use that as like just love that person and treat them right, and I swear you'll have a great life if you just treat people who work with you really, really
Yeah, and
good, you
trust
know?
them.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, if you feel like you have to micromanage them, that's not the point of hiring. Like you, you need to be able to say, you decide, you know,
Right,
and
right.
if it's an emergency, call me, but you decide,
Teach them, man. Teach them good principles, and let them run themselves. But you got to empower them, you know. So that's great, man. I love it. Let me know how that goes. I love that you threw that out there. I'm dead serious. If you don't have me out there to Phoenix and let me see your place, that means we're not friends. So you better hurry on that, man.
Yeah, no, that's happening.
All right,
Believe me.
that sounds good. No, I'm actually there's a couple other guys we're gonna go visit and do some team videos with, and got some exciting stuff coming. I just appreciate what you've done. Appreciate your friendship. Anything else you want to say before we close this?
No, that's about it. I just want to thank the whole Stone Coat team, though. They've, the service that I get from them, I might as well be talking to you, you
Nice,
know.
good.
Um, and you're right. When they ship out a package, there's always some kind of pen marking on there. An actual human is doing that,
Oh
and
yeah,
checking,
oh
you
yeah.
know. So, no, this has been great, Mike, and call me anytime. Same goes to you.
Right on, man. Right on. We'll keep it up out there. Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask about. So you're in Phoenix. It's gonna get hotter than blazes in the summertime. How's your working time when you're inside in the heat? How does it work out for you when it's that hot?
So the garage is spray foamed, so it's really insulated.
Okay.
Um, so we're with a swamp cooler. We're at 80 degrees,
Okay.
and so yeah, that doesn't affect us really really much. But say it was 100, um, I would say you got probably 20 to 30 minutes,
Nice.
or
Okay.
something like that. You definitely, not as much. It's a temperature related variable.
Right.
Um, but yeah, you can still, if you've got something, I would just say start in smaller sections.
Sure.
If you're working with 100-degree weather and it's 100 degrees, first of all, drink some ice water. You
Do it in
know,
the evening, man.
yeah, you don't got to work at 4 o'clock. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
uh, but just do small sections and then you'll be fine
You
if
know,
that's what you got to do.
for many years. So we get this question. Summer's approaching us. It's going to get hot. We get this question a lot. And I worked for many years in our shop, which wasn't insulated. And in Oregon, it gets hot in the summer for a couple weeks, and we would be 90 degrees in our shop. And I had plenty of working time, just like what you said. You're doing sections. You're not pouring 2 gallons at a time and leaving it in the buckets to heat up. So if you are in the heat, mix what you can handle and get your recipe figured out. Then mix 2 quarts at a time, pour it out, trowel it, chop it, do your effects, and then move on, and you'll have plenty of working time.
Yeah, you'll be fine. And if you make an oops, use that as a learning experience. And actually, one more thing, if you're looking to start in this business, buy a 2-gallon set, and that whole 2 gallons is samples.
Right.
Don't try to make money off it. That's your tuition. Okay,
Nice.
so use all of that. Don't be afraid. Don't feel like you're wasting nothing because you're learning. That's what you want to do. Um, just write on it 4 samples
Right.
and use it up.
I love it.
Um,
You know,
so
you know what we're about to do, because we get this request a lot too, is we're taking 10 of our most popular colors and we're going to create a sample kit so somebody can buy a 2-gallon kit and make a ton of samples, and we'll have everything in that box to use our additives to create all those 10 different colors. And so we're gonna have that ready here in the next week or two. But I think a lot of contractors say, where do I start? And that's exactly right. You start with samples, you get really good at it, and then you have something to show a customer in living color. They can touch, hold, feel it, and they see what they're getting. They see your quality, and you're confident because you made them and you can reproduce that. So,
yeah, and if you're going to present samples, make sure they're all the way done. You know,
Okay.
they're sanded on the. There's no drips. You've got the clear coat on it.
Yeah.
You know, have one that's matte finish. Have one that's semi-gloss and high gloss.
I love it.
You know, make sure, because that makes a difference to them.
Yes.
You know, it's you can say it's just a visual sample, but they want to see the structural. They're looking at it as a structural product too.
Right.
You know,
Right.
not just visual. When they hold it, they're experiencing all of that.
I love it.
You know what I mean? So
Great advice, man.
very important. You know, so yeah, if you got $1 million worth of advice in this one podcast. You know,
I agree, man. It's you can build a business. That's the key. Is we're having guys build true businesses and adding on products. And then, you know, we've had guys in the trades for many years who they're beat up, man. Their backs are bad, their knees are bad, their necks are bad from hanging drywall. They're sick of ladders, painting houses outside. They're sick of being on their knees all day doing floors, and they realize that if they get really good at this, they can add this trade to their business and just see where it takes them. And it's taken them. It'll take over your business. It will, because there's a huge need for it, and you're now something unique and different that nobody else is doing. So.
well, yeah, I mean, there's huge demand for it, and a large population doesn't even, you know, you say epoxy countertops, they say, what is that? You know,
Yeah.
So it hasn't even penetrated, you know, I would say, you know, 90% where, you know, 9 out of 10 people, you know, have you ever heard of epoxy countertops? You know, like I said, this industry is just getting started.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
Yeah.
So invest now. You know, get in before the wave crashes. You know.
Well, Carlos, man, I appreciate you doing this podcast. I know you're a busy guy. I gave you short notice. We've been talking about you doing this, and I'm glad that we got the chance to connect. Man, I hope you get lots of phone calls from this, and man, just keep it up. You got this, brother.
You got this too, Mike. So, all right, hey, we'll leave it there, and if we got to do another podcast, you know, I'm sure. You know, we'll let the audience decide.
I'll tell you what, let's have anybody listening to this, if you've hung on this long, you're obviously serious. You know, we found that people watching our podcast, first of all, we're making these so you can listen, so you can download them to your phone and put your phone in your pocket, go work out, go drive, do whatever, and listen to what we're talking about. This is for the people who are really trying to get after this, and if you've listened this long, you're dead serious. So if you've made it this far, comment below on questions that you have for Carlos. This is a third party. You want to ask Carlos questions. We'll have Carlos back on in a month or two. We'll fill those questions up, and we'll just answer questions from the comments below. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
All right,
this
bro.
is why I love my job.
All right, man. Well, you need to create an itinerary for when we come out there, and dinner's on me and whatever. Let's go do something that's unique to Arizona that you could show me that I've never seen before, and it's on me, brother.
Okay, that sounds good, Mike. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bro. Thanks a lot, Carlos. Later.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Carlos, thank you so much. Those were nuggets of information that had major value, and I greatly appreciate your time. I'm proud of you. You are quickly becoming a force to be reckoned with in the epoxy countertop world. Until next time, from the Dominate DIY podcast, Carlos got this. We'll talk to you soon. Dominate DIY.